Right, we're here at the Nutrien Sydney sales. Great to be catching up with Craig Judd from Benstud Standardbreds, and we've got the whole team behind us over there as well. Juddy, firstly, thanks for joining us.
No, pleasure, Paul. Thanks very much.
Great day yesterday. A little bit warm today. People are starting to get a bit out and about, and pretty busy sort of time for everyone involved, from you guys here as the preparers and the consigners to the trainers trying to get out here. Got a big night tomorrow night, and then back here to the sales at 11 o'clock tomorrow. But it's a lot of fun, and it's what we all enjoy, isn't it?
Yeah, look, we love the sales, and it's almost grand final day for us. We've foaled down, rebred, and yearling prep, and then we get a bit of a break. So looking forward to it. There's a good amount of people around. Everyone's, I don't know, just it's got a good vibe, good feel, and there seems to be a lot of people buying. So I think this is quite optimistic for the sale, to be honest.
It has, and I think the one thing we will touch as a generalisation, we'll get onto your draft in a sec, but this sale, like the depth, this is as good a sale as there's been on the eastern seaboard for a long time. I think like some of the bloodlines, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like you do tend to get a little bit focused on your own horses, so you head down, and I actually didn't open up the catalogue and look through other people's horses until probably Tuesday this week, and I was just blown away. Like people kept saying to me, "Oh, it's an amazing catalogue." But I was like, oh, yeah. But to be honest, once I actually sat down, went through and seen the relatives of the top quality horses that we got, it's an amazing draft. Yeah, it really is.
Really unique opportunity, and we're going to touch on one of yours in a sec, but there is a really unique opportunity for people to future-proof themselves, if you like, as well, with some of these fillies that are going through. Mm-hmm. We saw the job that Nutrien have done. They've done this in the performance horse world, where the fillies get elevated. I think always the colts were the high priority. Mm-hmm. We're seeing that shift, if you like, with these fillies. You guys have got one out of Ben Injured offered up, but there's there's quite a few others here. It's a massive opportunity with the rich sale series that they have, individual sex going through there as well. This sale is really doing what everyone hoped it would do when it started 4 and 5 years ago.
Yeah, look, it only took those couple of horses last year, so the sale toppers with the fillies, so which sort of gets someone like myself who's got the Ben Injured. We've got 2 siblings already with Tough Tilly and Elysian J. We thought, we might throw a hat in the ring and chuck a nice filly on the sale and see how it goes.
So sorry, I don't want to cut you off. So that's sort of it. After seeing last year, you said, hang on, we're silly to keep these back here. You could really be a sale topper.
Yeah, look, there was a point where I think there was an acceptance that the fillies were always going to be 30% below the colts. And then, and I don't think every filly's going to do that, but those top quality, well-bred fillies, people are now looking at them as a dual purpose, racing, breeding after racing life. So, we've got Tough Tilly's filly in at Melbourne. She's for genuine sale. She'll be reserved, obviously, as is all our horses. But and then we've got the Ben Injured one here in Sydney, which is she's a smaller filly, but she's a clone of Tough Tilly herself. Her sort of lack of structure didn't really help hurt Tough Tilly too much, so she won 700,000. But you're going to potentially be breeding out of a Bettor's Delight half sister to Tough Tilly and Centenario, and the list goes on.
Yeah, it must have been a tough choice. Actually, one thing I do want to say, anyone that's watching that's not a standardbred person, it's not directly a clone. It's all but a clone. When you said that, I was like, well, we better clarify that. But it must still be a tough decision, because I know, I always tried to say it was Benny Judd, or wasn't sure exactly what it was, but she was a mare that got hurt herself. Yeah. It's a family that's done such a great job for you. I would imagine the family, Benstud in its entirety, this would be a pretty tough one to put up on the market. So it must have been a hard decision for you all to make. Oh,
it was, and we've got 3 sets of partners, so 6 of us in it, and then we just sit down and I think had the horses, the fillies, not sold like they did last year, we would have been like, oh, well, bugger it, she's worth more to us to keep than sell. So yeah, we've reserved the horse at 120,000, which I think is exceptionally fair, and she should cover that nicely, So if she doesn't, well, in the same breath, we're quite happy to take her home. I think the biggest part of it, I guess, Dad's argument, and Dad's getting a bit older, so he's sort of not looking to future-proof as much as what we are. Dad's sort of saying, well, we've already got 2 siblings. Do we need 3 siblings? I probably lent more towards you know, quality families, you can't have too many of them. You know, you've only got to look at Jackie Gibson's, you know, one line from, you know, out of that eye family, just kicks every year with a nice horse, and Jackie's just, you know, used that as her foundation base and bred off that, and then she continues to breed, you know, top quality horses. So, yeah, so I guess you've already worked out how the vote went. I was happy to keep her, and the majority thought, well, let's chance our arm.
Yeah, I think it's great. You know, it's interesting you say that about that eye family. You got one out of that eye family. There is a vet's report with that horse. He's all fine. Yeah, but just get in touch.
Yeah, he had a small OCD surgery, so no big deal.
Which is very normal for standardbreds.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other point I want to make too, with going back to the fillies, you know, we could have come here and said, well, you know, I wanted to keep her. The other guys wanted to chance our arm. We could have come here and just said, we're putting 180,000 on her, and if you don't give it to us, we're going to take her home. I think we've put it on at a really fair reserve of 120, and then, of course, obviously, we're hoping that she'll make more than that. In saying that, she doesn't get 120, I'll happily take her home, and I'll happily pay up for the race series. But I would have thought 120 is exceptionally fair for a mare of that ilk.
I want to touch on your reserves. We could go through all your horses, and Craig does have a bit of paper. Mind you, he's going to destroy it by the time we finish this interview, and we will touch on a couple of them, because you've got great families. I know I saw Andy Gaff going through there before. That Copper Goodwine family is here as well with Catch a Wave. I couldn't remember his name as well, but also so many others. The reserves, though, and you guys setting your reserves is something you're very strong on. People come up and ask, you'll tell them the reserves so people know prior to them going into the sale ring, so then people are aware, well, I'm in the ballpark, not in the ballpark with that horse, and it works well for you guys.
Yeah, look, I think it's a double-edged thing too, where other vendors are advantaged by the fact that we are putting set reserves on, because people will go, okay, well, I really like this horse, and know our reserves, so hence, if that's too much for them, they can go and concentrate on another vendor's reserve horses. So yeah, it's just transparent. You've only got to see our videos. You know, we video the horses running between their legs. We don't hide nothing, and then same with the reserves. Come to me, ask me what the reserves is. Come Sunday, I'll be able to tell you exactly what the reserves is, and we never waver from that. You know, I've probably got half a dozen. I'd have half a dozen horses here that I think are $40,000 to $60,000 horses. I've got them on for $30,000. Let the market take care of it, particularly colts. There's some really nice. There's a couple of beautiful Sweet Lou colts. It's a really nice Art Major filly, and they're all $30,000. You know, I've got $30,000 on Royal Dan's half brother, and he's a magnificent trotting horse. Like, I think he's an $80,000 horse, but put him on at 30 and let the market take care of themselves.
He's got a lovely long barrel. I was blown away watching that parade last night and how he walked over the ground. He's got a little bit of swagger about the way that he presented himself as well.
He's just a really cool horse, a good-minded horse. He's very workable. He wants to get from point A to point B. There's no mucking around. He's like that with his work. He opened the stable door. He's basically chucking his own head in the headstall, and he's dragging into the walker. So, but no, they're the style of horses that we've had success with. You know, those good-minded. So once again, I think we got $85,000 for his sister last year, and I think I had a reserve of $40,000 or $50,000 on her. And this year, I've just decided to chuck him on at 30 and hope he goes to a good stable.
The trotters are getting bigger and bigger here, and we've seen quite a few trotting people already out looking at a few of them, so which is great. Jody, we won't necessarily go through all of your lot. You've got 22 lots going through. We want people to come down here and see. By the time people see this interview, this is just to make sure that people are aware of it. You've got some of the more unique horses in Australia and New Zealand on this sale. Of course, you've got the Cullen Hu daughter there as well. You've got quite a few of these other colts, as I said, that are Captain Treacherous colts, so well represented as well in the sale. And we want people to come down here and see it. The parade yesterday, it works. It works so well. It's got a great uniqueness about it. I think it's something that Nutrien do so well. And thankfully with the lighting this year, some people are 50-50 on whether it's the right time to do it or not. I can tell you as a videographer, it was beautiful because the light was very consistent. And I think that helps. I think sometimes maybe the people here need to probably be aware that it's for the people at home, that live parade, and be able to re-watch it later on so that they can sit there and have a look at these horses in a decent light, which unfortunately last year we didn't get. But this whole occasion is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think this weekend's been really, really good. I think it's interesting, a different race weekend, but I think it might even work better. There's so many unique people. Like, we saw Trista and Grant sit up there all day yesterday. Yeah. If Larry's going around in the Miracle Mile next week. Yep. They won't be sitting there all day, and they'll be waiting to look after their boys. So I think it really works.
Look, the one thing that yourselves and Nutrien have done very well is take feedback and try things differently. They've never sort of locked in and said, well, this is what we're doing. It's always been listen to the feedback, try different things. I mean, I've got a different view on it, potentially for the vendor's point of view with cost of accommodation, and we could probably do it a day later. But same thing. We just front up whatever they tell us we're going to do. We front up and we do it, and then you can talk to Mark and talk to yourself and throw it. They'll throw it around next year. They might say, okay, well, why don't we try this? And it's one thing I really, really love about it is everything's flexible, and but we are catering for, and this is what people have got to realise, we're catering for the online public. A lot of people just can't physically get here for whatever reason, and it works as you say with the light and everything like that. So
I think directly after it we had 400 people watch it. So anyone wanting to know, there was 400 people, not necessarily all watched it live. They could have been straight after, and they were watching the rewatch. It was probably an hour and a half by the time I actually looked at those stats. Haven't looked at them today. I probably should have before I doing this, but it works, and it's a way of getting the message out there. Not everyone puts them in the parade. Those people come here and they inspect. It works two ways, but I think it really works. I think it adds to it. Interesting about the date. I'm not going to get into a debate. I'm not going to debate with you. I'm actually going to agree with you, Bardo. If you've watched it to this part, I might agree with you. But we also do understand if we did that, we'd probably have to have had it done by now, so that the people can sit back and find somewhere for 2 hours to sit there and watch these horses, or at least filter through to the horses they're after.
But that is the difference, and it's one of the the great differences. But with Nutrien is the fact that they're a willingness to listen and try things differently. So I think it just continues to get more and more successful, more following all the time for those exact reasons.
And the horses, I think that's the other thing. The horses are following. There's people coming back and back now. We've seen them. They're coming back, and it's making a huge difference.
Look, the quality. I did get the pleasure of sitting up there and having a cleansing.
I noticed that.
I did. I sat up there with Mum and Dad there and watched a bit of the parade, and it was just blow your mind. Like we were standing at the entry gate, and it was just like, my God, what's that? You couldn't help yourself but open up the catalogue. So no, I think it'll be a good sale. I really do. I'm quite optimistic, and be a lot of fun tomorrow.
Plenty of people watching what we do, mate. Don't worry about that. I know that for a fact. So I think they're here today. But anyway, right, mate. I might talk to you tomorrow afternoon, hopefully, at the end of the day. That'd be nice. If it's been a very successful day, that's generally how it happens. But mind you, I say these things and we get a bit tired. We're happy to pack up and go home. But good luck to you. Good luck to the whole team. And get down here to Seabarn. Make sure you inspect these quality horses, and make sure you're here early because the sale starts at 11. I'm going to throw you under the bus. What's your first one through? I reckon you're about lot 3.
Our first lot is lot 21.
Oh, 21? Oh, you're a bit later.
The Ben Injured filly's our first one, So we do tend to try to shuffle the deck a little bit between Melbourne and Victoria because we like to be, let the sale get a bit of momentum, and we try to avoid being in the back end of the sale, of course, because there's a little bit of buyer fatigue at the end of the day. So, but I think there's been a few come out, so there's less going through the ring, which will obviously help.
150 lots going through at the minute. Hopefully for everyone involved, they all get there. So, mate, I'll let you go. A couple of important people coming across, so we want to make sure that they get looked after and go from there. But thank you very much for giving us a bit of time. Thanks for your draft, mate, as well.
Mate. Pleasure. Thank you.